So you faced gangs, prison, and a false manslaughter accusation, and you still become a doctor at 56.
What had happened is Uncle, he was a very, broken man. He was Jake the Muss, mate. Exactly like in that movie. He'd get drunk, he'd invite all the friends over, get drunk, and then he'd just beat the crap out of my ass. By the time I turned 14, I was broken, mate, and I was numb to everything. I thought about getting high for the rest of my life. I'd challenge you to find one study that shows that there's a long-term benefit, harsher penalties on crime. Society, this government is actually providing the training for these gangs to recruit disciplined, fit, angry young men who are capable of taking orders. I'm 4 months away from my final exam to become a paramedic, and I'm fighting a fucking manslaughter charge. The lawyer comes to me and goes, listen, they'll give you 3.5 years, ask for 3.5 years if you plead guilty, but if you don't plead guilty, if you plead not guilty, maximum is life in prison.
This week on Between Two Beers, we talk to Dr. Timoti Te Moke.
Timoti's story will blow you away. It's full of resilience, redemption and revolution. After an early start as a bright boy in the Eastern Bay of Plenty, nurtured by his te reo Māori-speaking grandparents, Timoti's life changed sharply when his mother took custody of him when he was 6. He survived abuse, state care, gangs and prison, his life marked by trauma and pain.
By 14, he was behind bars. By 20, he crossed the Tasman trying to leave his past behind. But it was a moment in a prison cell, a glimpse of blue sky that sparked a life-altering question. What if this isn't all there is?
Timoti transformed his life. He returned to New Zealand, became a paramedic, and after an unsupported manslaughter charge nearly derailed his life, became a medical student in his 50s.
Timoti is now a fully qualified doctor and has just released his book, The Unlikely Doctor, which chronicles his incredible journey.
This was an incredible and inspiring conversation, which I know you're going to love. If you'd like to get one of our epic guests in as a speaker or MC at your function or event, flick us a message by going to b2bspeakers.co.nz.
This episode is brought to you by TAB. Got a hunch? Download the new app today and get your bet on. Enjoy.
Dr. Timoti Te Moke, welcome to Between Two Beers.
Kia ora. Nice to be here.
You've taken a day off to join us today. I understand you come straight from a 16-hour shift, had a bit of a break, and now you're in with us?
Yeah, it's a bit like that. Like we work, if we work 5 days, we've got to have a 16-hour shift somewhere along those 5 days. But then also the union that I'm in, we can be put on for 10 days straight, and in those 10 days we have 2 16-hour shifts. Last night was pretty hectic, man. And a lot of the jobs were not too intense, you know, like a patient, his hemoglobin, that's his blood, it was down, so we've transfused them, and it was just seeing whether or not it'd come up far enough to leave him how it is, or to transfuse another unit. End up transfusing another unit. So that was pretty simple. And then other ones where I'm looking at chest x-rays just to see whether or not, like the patient had pneumonia, whether or not that was worsening, whether or not the medication we're on is sufficient. And it was worsening, but we were on the right medication. But then it started off quite intense. We had what's called a STEMI, so that's, in layman's terms, that's a heart attack. I've got called there for a woman who'd only come in with groin pain, and she'd developed chest pain, central chest pain after that. Now, what happens when you have a heart attack, the first thing on there, it looks like ST depression, and that indicates that the heart is not getting enough oxygen. Ultimately, that's what it means. And then it can develop into ST elevation. Now, the thing with this is that she had ST depression, and it was on what we call the anterior lead. So that's looking at the front of the heart, the face of the heart. Heart sits like this, it's looking at the face of it. And I've gone, okay, so we'll go down what's called the ACS pathway. That's a cardiac pathway. We've given us some aspirin. We've given us some clopidogrel. I've given a challenge. It's called GTN challenge. It's a spray that you put under the tongue. What it does is it causes the vessels in the heart to expand, and that like if there's any blockage in there, that allows the blood to go past that blockage. And I got some relief from it, so I'm thinking, yeah, we're on a cardiac pathway. She's still in a bit of considerable pain, so I've given her some morphine. And so we're getting the pain under control, just to dot our I's, cross our T's, a call for a chest x-ray. We then take some bloods Now, the specific thing with the bloods is we're looking for this enzyme called troponin. Now, what happens is we've got this enzyme troponin, and it's specific to the heart. And now it sits inside the cells of the heart, and when cells die within the heart, it just sprays all its contents out into the blood, and that includes the troponin. So we look for levels of troponin, because normally it's very small, but if we get a rise in that, then we go, okay, we've got some heart injury. So that takes a little while though. So we take the bloods and that, and we send it off to the lab. We've got everything going. ICU turn up, and they're going, yeah, this looks all good. They're taking some more bloods. But here's the thing. We've got anterior ST depression, yeah? But if you look at from the back, because it's looking at the front, and it can't see from behind, from the posterior. And if you put the leads on the back, it might show a different story. And so that's what I did. I got the leads off the front, chucked them on the back, and we ended up with a posterior STEMI, so a posterior heart attack. So we've called up cardiology. We've gone code STEMI. They've come up and they started running the show. We've had a full team there. I've got a crap load of jobs to do, so I've just go, listen, I'm taking off. You are good, and the reg goes, yeah, I'm good, and I take off and start doing my jobs.
It's when you ask someone, what did you do yesterday at work, and they're like, I did some stuff, and then someone goes into the detail about that, is just mind blowing.
Yeah, but we were talking just before we started about your shift, and you sort of brought that up, and I was saying with the reference of having read your book and knowing what you've been through in your story. For the average person, that would be like a huge day. But you're like, well, in the context of the rest of your life, no, it's not that big of a deal. It's
just another day at the office.
Yeah,
and that is, as we'll find out, that is wild considering where you started to where you are now. But before we get there, let's play around a little bit.
Yeah, we've both just finished reading your book, The Unlikely Doctor, and it is so good. For the listeners, I can't recommend it highly enough. Like a page turner we couldn't put down. We're so excited about exploring your story, but I wanted to start by asking you about telling it, because in the book you write about a time when you kind of did tell your story and didn't like some of the editorial decisions used, and are very wary about who you tell your story to and when. And now here you are on the eve of launching your book, and you're doing a podcast. So I'm wondering about where you're at with actually telling your story.
Yeah, well, I've always been like, I guess, open with my story, because I feel that if I kind of just gloss over stuff and try and I guess not talk about stuff, it loses its potential to actually achieve something. It loses its potential to create the change that I want it to make. And so I'm very I guess I push myself to be as open as I can, because I believe that what the end result will be, it will be the change that I'm seeking for. And to do anything else, it'd be just to rip myself off and rip off the change that could happen. Now, getting back to the there's been a couple occasions, or one in particular, where I was telling my story to a person I was taking it down, and they've kind of put their own kind of spin on it, artistic license kind of thing. And it's put me in a position where I got to say that I've had some morals that a certain set of morals that have been put into me coming through the system, including prisons and gangs and that, and they've evolved along with me, but they're still there. Yeah. And in terms of this, the person used their artistic license to put in a few names that I'd told them about, but they weren't there. And so the thing is that I could have went along with it, but no, that was bullshit, man. Like, and the thing is that what it does, it makes me out to be this person that's putting other people in for stuff which isn't right, and then actually putting them in for stuff that they had nothing to do with, which is fucking bullshit, mate. Yeah. And so I've just gone, nah, man, that's not happening. So this was when we were doing the documentary for can I say I Am Innocent on here?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for I Am Innocent, and so it was a bit of a trial, just keeping certain people on point and not letting them run away with it. Yeah.
Your story, to sort of summarize it involves a horrific childhood of beatings and abuse, gang life, stints in prison, an unsubstantiated manslaughter charge, to becoming a doctor at the age of 56. Like, when you sort of summarize it like that, just really tightly, does it feel like a wild ride? Like,
yeah, it does. I gotta admit that there was never a time in my youth and coming through my young adulthood that I thought, I could be a doctor. There was never a time that I ever said that. And there was actually, it wasn't until like in the book how I spoke about going to that job as a paramedic that and it wasn't, I didn't think that I could be a doctor. It was just that I had to step up. And that I think that's the key that it's been for me, is like, I wasn't like, I dream of being this, or I think I could be this. It was more, this needs to happen because I don't like the way I'm feeling right now, and I know that I need to step up and do this. And that's what happened when I made the decision to become a doctor.
And the literary license would say it's a real rags to riches tale, and it's a it's a beautiful story, a Hollywood movie. But the reality is, it's not. It's
absolutely
there's plenty twists and turns and a whole bunch of diversity as we go along the way. Which, to double down on that point earlier, when you're talking about what you've done in the last 24 hours, it's incredible to me sitting here to think that's what your day to day is now compared to what you were before.
Absolutely. In terms of I guess it's changed in terms of my understanding from a medical perspective. But in terms of intensity, like in the book, I'm 8 years old and the stepfather's walking into the room and he's going to flog the crap out of me. Imagine the intensity in there, and this could happen to me 3 times a week. So imagine that intensity, mate. And so the thing is that coming through with that happening and everything else, like I said, by the time I turned 14, I was broken, mate, and I was numb to everything. What's happened now in this point right now, intense situations happen, and I'm cool with it, man.
We're gonna take the story from the start. I actually just want to read something. I'm not sure if you've seen it. On that documentary that is on YouTube, there are hundreds of comments sort of reflecting what I'm going to read one of the ones that's jumped out to me. It said, "What a beautiful soul you have, Tim. You have shown that you can achieve what you want and not be defined by your past. You were dealt some nasty cards, but you set a plan and rose above all the trauma, heartache and diversity thrown at you. I would love to see you touring the country, sharing this kaupapa with the youth. I believe you can change lives with this 100%. Thank you, Tim, for your resilience and fortitude." That's one example. There's streams of this, and that's why I'm so excited to share your story, because I believe that people are going to hear this and it's going to make a difference.
Thank you very much.
So I want to go back to the very beginning, because we're going to build into some difficult years, but in the beginning it was a good childhood, right? Can you take us back to the very start in those first 6 years?
Yeah, well, I can only start remembering from, I guess, 3, maybe 4. But what I remember is just living with my grandparents in Greyland, and it was awesome, mate. Like we had all the whānau around. We had like my aunties and my cousins, and everyone was happy. We didn't, like, looking back, we were really poor, but I remember just being super happy, mate, and being super content, and not being afraid, mate. Like I remember being comfortable just talking to my grandparents, and asking for stuff. Whereas I'd never do that as an 8-year-old.
You mentioned your grandparents, your koro and your nana.
Yeah.
So my understanding through reading the book is you never knew your father?
No. All I know is he was Tongan. Tongan, he liked to drink and he liked to hurt people. The thing is that, my mum never talked about him. When I did ask him, she slapped me across the face and go, "This guy here is your dad." And so, in terms of that, I think, a lot. I really longed for a father. When I was with my grandparents, my koro was my dad, and that was cool. But then when I was when my parents took me away, I understood what that I actually didn't have a father. I actually understood that I didn't have a father, and then what I started thinking was, the problem with this picture is that I don't have a father. And so I'd cry at night. So just wondering where my dad was. And it got to a point later on where I didn't really care. I'd become numb to everything. And so I didn't care about whether or not I had a dad. I didn't care about being Tongan. I didn't care about any of that. What I cared about is about having the world understand the pain that I've been through, and to expressing it. And like I say in the book, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter that the people that were receiving this emotion that I was dealing out, it didn't matter that they didn't cause it. It's just that they needed to understand that I had suffered, so the world is going to suffer as well.
So there might be people listening that maybe don't understand. So the concept is whāngai, right? It's an internal adoption within a whānau, within a family.
Yeah.
And you were raised as a son by your grandparents.
Yep.
So for the first 6 years of your life, I think it's maybe I'm not reading between the lines, but it's a reasonably comfortable childhood.
Absolutely, and I think there's a lot of that happened, and a lot of the reason is I guess urbanization. A lot of people at that time came to the cities to work, and while they're in the cities, they've kind of lost their way because there's a lot of distractions, and that certainly happened to my mum. A lot of distractions, and so when she became pregnant, she came back to our matata. I was born in Whakatane, and then she whāngai me to my koro, and that's because she still was enticed with those distractions.
The book in your life has violence. You write about one of your first experiences sitting on your grandma's knee at home, and your auntie, I think, has been abused by her boyfriend at the time, and some retribution takes place in front of you. And you kind of, this is normal to you, right? You're talking about how everyone is calm. It seemed like something wrong had been done, and that was sort of rectified. How do you reflect on that?
Well, yeah. So, the what had happened is my uncle. He was a very broken man, and he actually came from a very strong line in Tainui. He's had connections. He had a line descendant from the royal whānau, but he threw it all away. And he come up here, and he met my auntie, and they started having children. He became he was Jake the Muss, mate. He exactly like in that movie. He'd get drunk, he'd invite all the friends over, get drunk, and then he'd just beat the crap out of my auntie. And then one time, my auntie, when I think I was about 4. Auntie come over. We were in Greyland. We're staying on Williamson Ave, and my auntie come over, and she's just black and blue, mate. And they're talking, and that I don't hear what they're saying, but my koro was, all my aunts were there, my koro and my uncle Nicky. And then this other uncle come over, and I'm sitting on my nana's lap. Well, they just flogged the shit out of him, mate. And the thing is that there's no I didn't feel scared or anything like that. Like it was just what needed to happen, because he needed to stop what he was doing. Don't get me wrong, it didn't stop, but it needed to happen. And then he was beaten, just bashed the shit out, and then he's just left in the hallway. Here's the other thing too, is I guess the compassion of Māori as well. Like my koro, once my uncle got the shit kicked out of him, my koro wanted to throw him outside and throw him onto the road, but the aunties went, no, leave him here. Like, because they didn't want him to die or anything. Well, they didn't want, they just wanted him to get the lesson. Yeah, and so he just laid in the hallway until the next day, and then I think he got up. I'm not 100% sure, but I think got up, had a cup of tea, and then he left. Yeah.
Stephen and I were talking about this because this was one of the first parts of the book that he read and came in and was talking to me about it, about how, I guess, outside of your sphere of understanding, maybe? Is that a fair...
Well, yeah, I didn't have violence in my family growing up.
And I was reflecting on it coming from a Pacific Island background, and, you know, it's something that I probably hadn't thought about a lot, but I was witness to maybe not necessarily the act, but certainly the aftermath with my own family, and understanding how if someone has done you wrong, there is a price to pay, there is a retribution, and often it is outside the legal system. It is dished out, and that is how lessons are learnt. And I compared and contrasted our experiences and thought, wow, that's something I'd never thought about from my frame of reference comparing to Stephen's. And maybe that's the intention of the book, but definitely for someone like me who's a generation or two behind you, to then think about those formative things and how they shape your worldview.
Absolutely, and that did shape my worldview in terms of I guess, for want of a better word, things. There's things that need to be managed in house, and there's stuff that needs to be done, but once it's done, then it's done. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, like I said, my uncle was broken and it didn't stop. But thankfully my auntie left him.
So life takes a turn. At the age of 6, your mum comes back in, and she decides to take you from this warm and loving family and to move in with her and your stepdad. Is that what we're calling him? And I think you described this to a place of terror and fear. Like getting yanked out of a loving environment into a house full of strangers, a place of terror and fear. And this next 8 years is brutal. But I was hoping you could sort of take us to this part of the journey.
Absolutely. Like, it was mental. Like, the thing is that I remember the day. Like, I don't remember all of it, but I remember the day. I remember my nana coming in, and she's just bawling her eyes out, and I don't know what's going on. And then she tells me to get in the car, and I go, okay. And I get in the car, and it's like, you know, in those movies, those shots where the car's driving away and you're just staring through the back of the car and you're looking at the house disappear. Yeah, that's what it felt like. And then I'm in the car with my brother Matthew, and I'd only just met him. And we go to Kingsland, and then we're eating some chips, and that was cool. And I think it was about a day later or 2 days later, I got my first bashing. And the thing is that the good thing was, because my grandparents lived in Grey Lynn, I don't know, like I was only 6 years old, but I had some GPS going on, and I was able to go from like they had this gully that just you go through the gully and come back up, and then you go from Kingsland into Grey Lynn, and that's what I did, and I just every second day take off to my grandparents. they'd come and get me, bash me, and take me home again. Yeah.
And you talk about like the reason of getting into the detail is so people can understand. But they would joke about who can give you a better hiding,
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. They would joke about who I was most afraid of, who I'd least want to get the beating from. It was fucking surreal, mate. And they would develop new techniques to kind of just whip me and shit. Don't get me wrong, my brother got it sometimes, but I was the one that mainly got it. And the thing is that it was, I think, my brother, he I guess he just stayed in the background, whereas because I'd come from living with my grandparents, I knew it was wrong. And so I'd just act out and I'd take off and I go, well, I don't have to be in this fucking place. And then they'd just come and get me again.
Where did school show up at this time of your life?
Well, I went to I started off at Greyland Primary with my grandparents, and that was really cool. I did quite well. I did really well there, and I showed an apt for education. Then I went. My parents took me, and then I went to Edendale Primary, and that was a bit tough because I'd walk from Kings and Third Ave to Edendale at Sandringham, so that was a bit rugged, and then I was doing okay there in school in terms of academic wise, but I already cracks were starting to develop in terms of I was seen as the one of the naughty kids in class. I got into a few fights. I remember one time with one of the bullies in it. He used to pick on everyone. Then he picked on me, and then we ended up rolling on the ground. And he started crying, and then like the teachers would go that I'm the bad one. And of course, like if you get looked like that all the time, you just start acting out like it. So I was in a toxic environment at home. Then I was coming to school and looked upon as just a wayward child that gets into trouble. So there was no kind of place, no space where I was actually, I guess, nurtured. It was all kind of drilled into me that I am a problem. And so I started growing up as a problem. Yeah, I started, like, people say you're a problem for long enough, I'm a problem.
Doesn't sound like you had any safe spaces.
There was absolutely no safe space. I was with my grandparents when I took off, and that would be safe for about a day before they come and get me. And so, so the thing is, though, like I said, in terms of my academic prowess at school, like I was pretty good. I was quite intelligent, and when we moved to Ponsonby, I went to Richmond Road Primary, and I got put into a special class in terms of, I turn up early in the morning and they'd give us these problems to solve. I was with a group of maybe 4 or 5 other kids, and they'd take us through all these different problem solving stuff, and that's because I showed an apt for my intelligence, and I really enjoyed it, man. I used to love working out these problems and stuff like that. I'll give you an example, like that we got these little blocks, like they're 10 squares wide and 1 square deep, and we got asked to build a block 10 by 10, and the easiest thing is just to get 10 of those flat ones and just put them on top of each other. But then I got one, like I didn't actually fully work it out, but they were quite surprised, because I was going, okay, we've got a 10 at the bottom. What we'll do is we'll put an 8 in here, and we'll put a 10 on top, and we'll make this cube with that way. And they were quite impressed like that. I really enjoyed it, but I guess my stepfather just didn't want me having anything, didn't want me to succeed. Couldn't accept that I was an intelligent young boy, and just went, nah, you're not going anymore.
Some of the other detail is that if you were more than 5 minutes late home from school, you'd get a bash, right? Like a minute late,
Absolutely.
you'd get a bash. And there's so many gripping like passages in the book, but I just want to read this one because it's like every interaction with a human involved a calculation of whether they would inflict some sort of pain on me. That's what abuse does to a kid. That's where it leaves them. That's where it left me, dead inside. Do you think should people have seen? Do you know?
Yeah. They should have seen. However, the way I think everything's structured. It's structured to be like in terms of class. I've got 30 kids. I've got to teach them the syllabus. Some of them are playing up. They're being really shits like me. Well, they don't want to learn. I've got a job to do, and I'm going to do this. You've got police that pick them up, and it's the same age as it is today. It's the parents' job. They should be teaching these children to act responsible. They should be teaching these children to do this, but then you've got the parents that are just broken, and so because of that, you've got no one that's stepping up, no one that's taking it on board. One reason is because I guess they believe it's not their job, and then the other thing is that I grew up in South Auckland, and believe me, it wasn't only just happening to me; it was happening to a bunch of kids, man, and that's because of how society's structured. It's structured to produce that. Yeah.
When did your first interactions with the police start?
Oh, I think I was about maybe 9 or 10. I got picked up we were going for a swim at Robinson Road Primary Pools, and but we went to the town centre first, and I'm with these other kids, and we go into the supermarket, grab all these chocolates, wrap it in a towel, and they give it to me to go outside. And the thing is, I guess I've always had that in me in terms of going, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. Let me do it. And so they gave it to me and I went, yeah, sweet. And so I walked out. And then as soon as I walked out, I got pinched straight away. And then police took me home. The thing is, because I was so young, that nothing happened in terms of criminal charges or anything. But man, I got flogged huge, mate. Yeah, and this is the thing though. I know that as soon as I'm getting home, I'm getting hurt. I'm gonna end up bloody mess. And you'd think, I would have stopped then. But it's like how it is today. Like when they say they've got to be harsher on crime, it doesn't work, mate. Yeah, it doesn't work. The thing is that it's like how today you've got to combat the drivers of crime for it to stop. And just beating me as a 10-year-old who doesn't know why I'm doing this stuff, doesn't know what's going on. It ain't safe. It isn't helping anyone. Yeah.
You end up in Owairaka Boys Home, which you talk about saying you loved.
Yep.
But looking back, you can see it was abusive, and it kind of laid the platform for indoctrination. Can you talk to that?
Absolutely. And this is how I guess how bad it was. I preferred Boys Home to being at home. That's it. I preferred it. You got really good meals, 3 meals a day. You got to have chocolates on the weekends. You got to watch movies every now and again. You'd go for a ride, drive in a van. I loved that. Of course, there was stuff like I got into a bunch of fights, and the supervisors, they would promote aggression, like they'd throw us in the corner with boxing gloves, and they'd put us on this wooden horse, and make us wrestle to throw each other off, and then there's an initiation that's brought on at an early age where you've got to learn to defend yourself and also understand the hierarchy. And because I went in there at 14, and I think it goes up to 16 or something there, and then you get sent to Koitere after that. So there were older boys that had been there for at least a couple of years, or been in and out for a couple of years, and they had got hierarchy, and I got a few bashings on them, but that was more learning than just hurting me for the sake of hurting. Like they used to take stuff and they used to beat me up because I needed to learn how to fight, and I needed to learn the rules. I needed to learn the politics of coming into here, and I'm a good learner, and I learned really quick, and I'd only been in there for a month or so, and I was fighting back, and I was winning a few fights. I was getting bashed, but I was winning a few fights. And I was getting 3 square meals a day, and I was getting chocolates on a weekend, man. I loved it.
In retrospect, is it preparing you for a life of being in institutions like prison?
100%. Like the first thing we do is we go into secure, and that's a lockdown with cells, and that's to get classified. And you get classified in there, and then you go up top. But unless, of course, you've got a history of violence or history of taking off, then you're kept in a cell. And that indoctrinates you straight away for this is your life. And then also when you go up to top, you get indoctrinated going, you can be put in a cell, or if you're a good boy, we'll put you up top, and later on when you're in prison, you can go work in the community and stuff. You can go work outside. You don't have to be on stripes. So in a nutshell, it is. This is the routine for your prison.
During this sort of horror, traumatic period of your life, you talk about the rock bottom times, and you mention in a party you was sexually abused, and you talk about suicidal thoughts. Why didn't you, I'm not sure the right way to ask it, but how did you not do that?
The thing is, there was no one to tell, man. I felt, I know it's a cliche, but I felt it was my fault, mate. And I felt no one would believe me. And the thing is that I remember 8 years old, man, thinking about necking myself. Who does that at 8 years old, mate? And seriously thinking about and thinking that what would happen is that all it'd do is just give my mum or stepdad something to complain about. If I kill myself, the only thing that would happen is that'd give them something else to complain about me about. And so the goal then became, I'll just stay away from this fucker. Don't go in. Just stay away. Yeah.
You're almost describing. You've referenced Once Were Warriors. Then it's like you're describing the movie, but it's actually happened to you. But you're unfortunately all the kids in the cast in that family rolled into one.
100%. And the thing is, right? Here's the thing that it's not just happening to me. Right? It is not just happening to me. And that is I guess the sad thing. But I didn't understand it at the time, but I understand it now. That there's times when I'm with growing up and I'm with these other people, and we just understand each other so well. We never talked about it, but I look back at it now and I go, yeah, the exact thing happened to them. Yeah. And there was a bunch of them.
There's one ray of light that steps in, and that's Mary Kay's. And she sees something in you that she wants to help and nurture and grow, and then you move in with her for a period, but then you decide to move out. I'm interested in that chapter.
man, she was a lovely woman. Her whole family, her whole whānau's lovely, man. She was my English teacher. In my third form, it ran, the acronym was Cambridge. So it was 3C, 3A, 3M. So from the brightest down to the ones that needed more help. And I was in 3C. And the thing was, I was 13 and I'd just gone through 7 years of this stuff. And there was no way I was going to excel from then on. And so at that time, I'd stopped going to school. And I stopped going to school. I just stopped everything. But I had Mary as an English teacher while I was there. And then I think for a couple of months in fourth form, I was running, the acronym was Gisborne, and I was in 4I. So I was starting to slowly just degrade. And that's when I was 14 and I went into a boys' home. I don't know how she found out, but she found out that I was there. And then she come and visit me. I was quite amazed. I remember she brought me in some of the studies that to keep me on top of everything, but I wasn't learning that stuff. Yeah, she brought it in, and I just put it on a shelf and just went back pushing weights and playing table tennis and stuff. But then going to court, that's just before we go to court, she said, "Tim, would you like to come and stay with us for a bit?" And immediately I said yes. Not that I thought, this would be a good opportunity for me. It's just that I didn't want to go back to that fucking house, mate. Yeah, and so I said yes, absolutely. And so I went to court, and then they put me under supervision. So I was a state ward with her. But unlike most state wards, she was amazing. Her family was amazing. It wasn't abusive like you hear from all those other state wards. But the thing was, man, the damage had been done. And it didn't matter how much love they showed me. It didn't matter how much time they spent with me. It didn't matter how much love they devoted to me. I wasn't coming back, mate. Yeah, and I wasn't coming back. And by this time, I'd been sniffing petrol and glue and stuff like that. And I just continued to do that. I'd go under the house where the lawnmower was, and I'd just sniff the petrol out of that, and the thing is, they tried and they tried and they tried. And believe me, I really wanted to connect. But there's no way. I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to do that. I was lost, man. I was broken, and there was no way of coming back. And so, I think it was a year and a half later, I left, and it was just because, the thing was, I got to a point in my, I guess, in my life where I needed to, I guess, express more of this broken person, and I wasn't able to in that loving environment.
Express as in more antisocial behaviour?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like I needed to express this brokenness inside me, and I couldn't do it there. And so we had some problems. She asked me if I wanted to stay or if I wanted to leave, and I said I wanted to leave. And that was because I didn't know at the time, but I'm looking back on it and I'm thinking, yes, I was at that point where I needed to express more of how I was broken. And I needed to find people that were just as broken as me in order to express it.
It's a weird question to ask, but at that point, did you think it was inevitable that you would end up in prison?
No, I didn't think about prison. I thought about getting high for the rest of my life. I thought about I loved being numb, and I thought about being numb for the rest of my life. And that was it. I thought about. I remember when before I was on this case and we broke into stuff, I remember that was exciting. So I thought about doing that again and having exciting stuff happen. Because at the moment, because at that time, it needed to be really intense for me to actually feel anything anymore. Yeah.
But it was a path to prison. 47 convictions, some for minor things like littering and being underage in a bar, right up to 12 months for throwing a sort of Molotov cocktail petrol bomb, to Mount Eden and then to Waikiria. What was, you write about accidentally joining a gang, and I'm kind of interested in that sort of chapter on the inside and what life was like.
It was kind of funny, man. I'm at Hillary House, so Kiria's got like I told you, and Oiraka, you've got your cells, and you've got if you're good, you can go out and work in the community, and the two houses, Hillary, I forget the other one, but Hillary and something else. They're for inmates that can go into the work parties. And so I'm down there, and I'm on this balcony, and the buses that are come in to drop off all the guys that are working on the dairy farms. Now, the dairy farms, that's no one really likes it, man, because it's just a shitty job, man. You got to get up in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. You got to milk cows twice a day, and like a couple of hundred cows. You go in there, you go behind them, you go to slap the cups onto their tits, and then they'll lift their leg up and they'll just kick you in the face, or they'll lift their tail up and piss and shit all over you, mate. So it's a tough gig, mate. And then you're out there always have to work, and working on a dairy farm, there's always something to do. And so that's the least likable job. And so the bus was coming in, and all these guys that had been working on the dairy farms come off, and I see one of the guys I know from the streets. And he's in this group, and I'm up there just leaning over on the balcony, and he's walking past, and he's walking into the house as well. And I go, "Hey, bro, how you doing?" And then he goes, "Hey, bro," and then he throws me the sign, and he yells out this thing that they use, and I go, "Oh, hey, bro." But then down the other end of the balcony, there's this other group of guys just staring at me, and like I know them and I'm good mates with them, but they're staring at me, and because I hadn't flashed back any signs to this guy, but because I acknowledged him, I'm now with them.
By association,
By association, guilty by association, man. Like, the thing is, if they had walked out, if they were on the bus and they'd walked out and they threw me a gas sign, I would have done exactly the same. And so it didn't matter who it was. Like, because they're so divided in that place that if you talk to one side, then you're with them. And it's because this guy threw up a gang sign and yelled out one of their motto kind of things, and I went, "Hey, bro, how you doing?" "Yeah, I'm in that group." And so as far as everyone was concerned, yeah, I'm with them now. And I'm thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, mate. Because now, things changed. Now, like, until then, I was seen as my own guy, and I got some mad respect, you know. Like I was able to stand on my own. I was able to do my stuff. I was able to, like, just walk between the different groups and just have conversations and stuff like that. But now I'm isolated to one group.
But you can handle yourself as well, because there's a period that we've skipped, which is corrective training, which essentially has almost hardened you even more.
100%. So I got sent to CT, fighting in public place, and carrying an offensive weapon, that one there is that fighting in public place is I'm on the streets, and we've got groups of guys, and the groups of guys just end up having fights, and it's usually a Friday and a Saturday night. But this was a Sunday, I think it was a Sunday, and I was and it was sometime in the afternoon, and we just see one of the guys that are from another group, and so me and him just one-on-one, and we're going for it, man. But we're outside this kind of video game arcade, and they shit themselves and they call the police. He takes off, and I don't. I just stand there. And then they pick me up and they go, "Who's that other guy?" I go, "I don't fucking know. He just called me a bastard," and we went for it. And so they pick me up and they charge me with fighting in a public place. But the thing is, I have this fork in my pocket, and it's got a couple of prongs bent back, and the two middle ones kind of looking like it fits in the hand, so it kind of looks like a knuckle duster, and with the two prongs sticking out. And they pick me up for that offensive weapon, but I use it to break into cars, mate. I'm not telling them that shit. I'm not telling them nothing. And so I just let them charge me with carrying an offensive weapon. I ended up going, I think there was a couple other things, I can't remember what it is, but what's happened is I've got this probation officer, and he's puts in this report, and he goes, Tim is he's getting into a bit of trouble. I think maybe a short-term and a custodial sentence will have long-term benefit. No, mate, not even close, man. And that was, I guess, the big mistake, and that's what a big mistake. How not just for me, other people coming through. The thing is, I went down to CT, and it's an army training camp. You get it snows. I went down there in the middle of winter, man, and it snows. It's in Turangi, and you get waking up 5 a.m. You're out in the snow. You've got a pair of shorts, a pair of runners on, and a singlet. And you're down there doing press-ups in the snow, sit-ups in the snow. You're doing all this physical training in the snow, and then you come out. You get back to your hut. I was in hut 21, and I spend the next 10 minutes on my chair, because your hands are just blue, and with your hands wrapped around your light bulb, trying to defrost them, mate. Here's another segue. Here's how you tell, like how we used to tell when we knew someone had been to CT, right? Like you're walking down the street with someone, and your cadence is perfect with each other. Absolutely, your cadence is perfect with each other, and your left foot hits exactly the same time, your right foot hits exactly the same time, and you've been to CT, and you'll ask him, rangi po hautu, and he'll tell you.
But the assumption there would be that level of discipline would help you get onto the straight and narrow.
Fuck off, man.
But that's the assumption, right? That discipline would straighten you out.
Yeah. Tough on crime. Yeah. When has that ever worked, mate? Like,
so, but having been through it, it's
nowhere near. And I'd challenge you to find one study that shows that there's a long-term benefit from harsher crimes, mate. From harsher penalties on crime. I would challenge you to find one study, mate.
So from your perspective, what did it teach you?
It made me fit, angry, disciplined. Here's what I think is, because they brought it back, and here's what I think is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen 100%, because this is the way I was. People getting released from there, they're going to be fit, they're going to be disciplined, they're going to be angry, and they're going to be able to take orders. A fucking gangster's wet dream, mate. Yeah, this society, this government is actually providing the training for these gangs to recruit disciplined, fit, angry young men who are capable of taking orders.
And was that your experience? You come out of CT and you were a prospect to be recruited?
Well, but 100%. Like the thing is that I came out and I was fucking angry, man. But I was fit and I was disciplined. Like I could get up like early in the morning and I could just go hard all day, every day. And I was a Duracell battery, mate. And the thing is that the fortunate thing that I didn't have, that they do have today, is I didn't have people with foresight. I didn't have a person within a gang with foresight's going, bro, these are a bunch of tools we could use. All I need to do is form them into a group and give them a goal, and I could have a fucking suicide squad, mate. Yeah, 100%. And that's the one thing that I was fortunate enough, because if I had met the charismatic leader that gave me the guidance, gave me the motivation, gave me the resources to excel, mate, I'd have been fucking dangerous, man. Yeah, because I was given those resources in Australia, and I excelled like crazy.
You write about, I'm not sure if this is the same time, when you're in the corner of your cell and you're waiting to be attacked, and you're preparing yourself because you think they're going to come and kill you.
No, that's up in Mount Eden. Again, what had happened is this is when they'd done all the changes. Initially, when you're under 20s, you were put in a North Extension. That's where you initially went. But when the renovations were done, they had East Wing as under 20s, and they had the sentence. They had two landings. The sentence is on the bottom landing, and the remand is on the top landing. And so you shared the same wing, but during the day you get put into the yards, and you have separate yards. Now the yards are just concrete blocks, and we've got remand under 20s, and then next door is sentence under 20s. And I'm there, and I'm playing euchre. I'm playing euchre with this guy from Southern Group, and then I hear this. I got my back to the yard, and I hear this, duk, 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 duk. And automatically you know someone's jumped over the wall, and they're sentence guys, and I know that this wing's run by this other group, and so I know they're coming to get me. And then I turn around, and sure enough, they're looking at me. But one of them is from this other group that were on the bus that I threw the Molotov cocktail at. So there's about 5 of them there. And I was thinking, oh man, this is gonna fucking hurt. So I put my cards back and on the bench, and I say to this other guy, I go, yeah, I'll see you later, mate. And I go out into the yard, and it's just on. And they bashed the fuck out of me, mate. But the thing is, the screws have come in. They would have killed me, but the screws have come in. I've got a huge beating, and they've taken me up to the infirmary. The thing is that I'm there, and I'm not thinking about getting fixed up. I'm just going, yeah, it fucking hurts. Give me something. Like the thing is, I'm after the drugs, man. I don't really care about getting hurt. Like, give me something. So I'm after the drugs. And then the thing is, I'm there, and then I go from the infirmary back to my cell, and I've got caught the next day. And then the guy that's in that group that we threw the Molotov cocktail at, he's doing some cleaning, and he's cleaning up the top landing. He's mopping the floors and that. And he comes past my cell, and he goes, "Are we good?" And I go, "Yeah, we're good, bro." And he goes, "Yeah, cool." And he goes, "So what's happening?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, looks like I'm going up for sentencing tomorrow." And he goes, "Oh, yeah. Where do you think you're going?" I go, "Well, I may end up in Kerry. I may end up something. I may end up here." And he goes, "But you don't want to fucking end up here." And I go, "Mate, I got no choice of that." And he goes, "But you don't want to end up here. You go down the stairs, because they already talking. They're gonna fucking kill you, mate." And here's how evolved I've become in terms of my one vision, and how single-minded I am at that time, and it goes back to also to how dangerous it could have been if a charismatic gang leader picked me up at that time, yeah, and how dangerous it is now, because we do have charismatic gang leaders now. Anyway, so the thing is that I had it in my head that I was part of this group now, and I'm not walking away. Like if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna die on my feet, mate. And the brother's gonna hear about it, and they're gonna salute me, and that's all that matters, yeah. And so I'm going, yeah, okay, cool. And then so that night, I'm thinking, well, they probably tossing up whether or not I'm going to come back here, or I'm going to go down to Carrier as well, or some other place. So they might think, well, fuck it, let's just get them now. And I'm thinking, yeah, fuck, they're going to come, sweet. So I rip up it's these foam mattresses. I rip up the foam mattress. I get some shoelaces. I tie it around me. I'm just fucking patting myself up. I break a fucking a leg off a chair and a bed, and I'm fucking waiting, mate. I've got my sneakers, but I've got it by the door. So when they go to open the door, I'm just going to jam it underneath that door so it sticks, and they'll get in, but it's going to slow them down. And that first one that sticks across his head, he's going to get this tool right in his fucking eye, mate. And then they're going to have to come through one at a time, and I'm just going to go. And then so the door gets open at 6. And so I've ripped up my bag, ripped up my bed. I've got all my tools ready, and I've got the shoes there, and I'm just sitting on the bed, and I'm just going, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do this. And the door gets cracked, and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, mate, and I'm waiting, and nothing happens. And I'm thinking, they think I'm coming back here, and I probably am. Okay, they're going to get me down here. Fuck it, that's okay. I will do that as well. We'll do it there. We'll do it that way. And so I remember I forgot to write. I remember the screw's eyes when he opened up, when he came to get me for court. Opened up the door and everything's just ripped open, and these fucking just like gotta go. Fucking was fun. But anyway, I went to court, and I get remand, mate. Fuck, man. That judge saved my life, mate. I can't even remember what it was for. I didn't care. But I got remanded, and I got remanded with bail, and I just walked out the fucking court, man. Fuck. And no one knew how close I was to dying that day.
Man, this life in the story is so full of these moments, sort of roller coaster. But the Hollywood story would have like some epiphany come over you, or something changed, and then you decided to go on the path. But how did it because this is the first time that you realized maybe there's more to life, right? Like what happened? Well, for me, it's never been this, like you say, the movies crossroads, where you get to a crossroads and go, this is it, and you make your decision from there. There's never been that turn to God kind of thing. For me, it's always been just little increment things that happen, and over time they've added up into a changed perceived reality. It's just multiple things, and then all of a sudden you turn back years later and go, wow, I've evolved here. Yeah, but there's been no real one decision, and this happened. But there have been times where I think, oh yeah, this was more special than others. And one of those times was I was in Carrier, and I was just finishing that year, and I've got about a month to go, maybe 3 weeks, and I'm in cell. I'm celled up with this other gangster, and we've got a bit of weed. We spark it up, and I'm off my fucking face, mate. And I'm staring through this. We've got this window in our cell. Thick ass glass with these bars going through it, and I look through it, and I'm looking at this the most brilliant sky I've ever seen, man. And you know, when I've got only a little while to go, and you'd think, you'd be thinking, what are you going to do when you get out? You'd be thinking all the stuff you could do and all these people you can meet. Nah, man. The first thing that popped into my head was, yeah, I'm coming back, and the next time I'm coming back, I'm never leaving. I was institutionalized, man. I was
I was so looking back looking back, yeah, I'm 100% institutionalized, because I had it in my head, yeah, I'm coming back. This is where I'm going to die. I'm going to die here. I am never leaving here. So it's either I'm going to come back and I'm going to be done for a charge that's never going to let me get out. I'm going to come back and I'm going to get into some kind of violence and I'm going to end up dead. Either way, I'm coming back and I'm never leaving. I'm institutionalized, man. But then the very next thought was, well, it doesn't have to be like that, mate. I didn't know what it had to be like. Like I didn't even know where that thought come from. But that was one of the more special times, you know. I didn't know what it had to be like. But there were little increment moments that carried on from that, and within a year, I'm not hanging out with the boys anymore. Yeah, and it wasn't come to a crossroads. Yeah, I'm stopping this. I'm stopping that. No. Like I got out and I got shit faced and I got into a lot of trouble and that. But slowly but surely, little increment changes. A year later, yeah, I'm not part of you anymore. Sorry, guys.
To summarise the sort of Australia chapter, just because we've got so much to talk about when we get back to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like this was drugs and alcohol, and you get work, you know, working door, and then you start your own security firm, and it's kind of like you go to rehab and you get clean, and then you get back on the gear again.
Yeah.
And it's like you're using these skills, you know, this violence to make a name for yourself, and you earn a good reputation, and the business is going well until it's not.
Yeah.
Like it seems like again, it's kind of like this washing machine of life, right?
Absolutely, it is. And the thing is, I've got some really good skills. Like I have back in the day, I had a unique ability for violence, and over there I got the ability to utilize that violence to make good money, but utilize that violence in a legal way,
legitimately.
Yeah. And so and the thing was, I worked with a group that all Māori boys and 90% of them were Māori and Pacifica, and that we all had a propensity to violence, but me in particular. And the thing is that we utilised that. And we became very well known, and we became a group that would go out and clean out a rough club or a rough pub, and we got so good at it that we had people from motorcycle clubs like turning up, shaking our hands, and asking if they could come in. We go, yeah, come and spend your money, just don't fuck up. And they would do that, and they'd show the respect. And don't get us wrong, we went walking around like big heads, and that would give them the respect that they deserved as well. And because of that, the business that for the guy that I was working for, he just started making mad money. He lived on a small street. He ended up owning his whole side of the street. So and that's how much money he made, man. And the thing is that because every club, every bar wanted us, we'd have like there's a time in the book that I talk about, like these two motorcycle clubs, they began a war, and we were looking after this bar. It's in Adelaide that it had a rough reputation, man. There was a lot of violence in there, and a motorcycle club used to be there, one of their locals. And then there was a war between these two clubs, and the other club turned up there. There's about 50 of them or something. And the manager just shit himself. They called us up. I think about maybe between 6 and 8 of us turned up. No, it wouldn't be more than 10 anyway. Turned up, and the club was really shocked that there was only 10 of us, and we were ready to get on. And they were, they left. Nothing happened. They left, and the manager was freaking out as well. He's going, it was crazy, and then our name just kind of blew up. got so big so much that the boss started believing the press that was written about him, and he started acting like a godfather, mate. Yeah, and that he ended up getting a couple of guys into a lot of trouble. They ended up nearly dead. They took hammers to the head.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Did you ever get scared? Like, was there ever a situation, there's 10 against 50 sort of thing? Or are you just so immune to violence at that point that it's, this is just what it is?
It is. The thing is, it's not so much immune to the violence. It's more, I'm focused now. And I've been in that many situations where it's so intense and so it's so violent, but just that intenseness is gone, and what it is a calm focus. That's what's left. It's a calm and focus, and I'm focused as fuck, mate. And the thing is that I know I've got some good boys with me that won't leave me. What I need to do is I need to work out a plan as how, with this group of guys, how we're going to divide and conquer. And that's where the focus comes in. It's not about freaking out. Yeah. It's again, okay, how are we going to win this? We're going to divide and conquer. This is where we're going to split them. Yeah.
I'm going to put in a tease for the book here, because these chapters are so captivating.
Yeah.
But leave some for the listener. And I want to bring us back to New Zealand, because there is some real goodness to come, and I want to give enough time for it.
Yeah.
But you get involved with the gangs over there, and you send your patch back in the mail, and you just exit, and then you're back in New Zealand.
Yep.
And what's the headspace like when you're coming back? Why did you leave, and what happened back in New Zealand?
I left. Left Australia because I was being set up. The thing with Australia is that it's very business orientated. The gangs over there are very business orientated, because there's a lot of money involved, and that's why you've got the charismatic leaders. That's why you've got a lot of resources, because there's a lot of money. And so I was getting set up, and so the choice was either he could stay there, go to war with these people, create my own club and that kind of stuff, which I had the capability of doing, or this isn't really for me. I've evolved past this. I can go home and carry on from there, and that's what I chose to do. So I come home, heap of skills, but nothing on paper, mate. Yeah. I did a couple of trips back to Australia because, like I said, there's money and resources there, and I was owed money. I had a bit of money, but you could only bring $10,000 at a time.
This reminded me of that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where they're like taping money. They're taping money to people and like trying to bring it back in. That's what I pictured in my head.
Yeah. So this is it. You could only bring back 10 grand at a time. So it was. I brought back 10 grand with me. Then I took my younger brother over. We brought back 10 grand each. He kind of shit himself. He didn't understand. Well, and that's fair enough. There was no problem. It's not illegal. We were just going there, coming home, and we had 10 grand on us. That was it. There's no drama. But the thing was, he was shitting himself, and but it was all good. We got back to New Zealand with it, and I thought, fuck, nah, man, I can't have this happening all the time, even though there's nothing legal. And so I said, I'll just wait, and I'll come up with another plan. But as things went on, it made sense to go, nah, just cut my ties. Yeah. So the thing is that I'm back now. I've got a little bit of money. But certainly not enough to start doing stuff with, and I've got a heap of skills, but I don't know what I want to do yet. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do yet. I don't. And what I noticed is when I'm coming back here, what I noticed was we had Māori TV and all that, but Māori was still like suffering, man. They're still the highest percentage of people in prisons. They're still the highest percentage of people in those wrong statistics, and then like there wasn't, like I said, there was no crossroads where I went, okay, I need to do this. It was just a thought, and I thought that Māori's still suffering, man. I've been gone for years, decades, and I've come back and nothing's happened for them. And that's a thought that kind of allowed to permeate, and other little increment things happen over time. And so I come back, and then I start to think, okay, let's make some money. and so I do what I know I'm doing, and I do some nefarious things. The thing is, though, while I'm doing this, and I realise that Māori are suffering, this is the time that the Māori Party are formed. The Māori Party are formed, and I'm really, I guess, I feel invigorated by them. Yeah, and so I start turning up to the meetings. I start turning up to meetings. I start becoming involved, and I start getting an understanding of Māori and their, I guess, their role in a political arena, and how that can benefit Māori as a whole. And so I become really, really interested in it. The thing is, like I'm still doing a couple of nefarious things, and so I can't fully invest in Māori Party, because the thing is, I'm not gonna let what I'm doing spill over to them. Yeah. I got to protect them. And so but I do other stuff, like just menial tasks. Like I do a lot of door knocking. I door knock for the Māori Party, man, and I bring people into the party and membership and stuff like that. And that's really good. And then with the stuff that I've been doing, it gave me other abilities. When the election came out, I created a CD, a track for the party called Move Forward, and I made a bunch of copies, and I gave it to them to raise funds. We had a function, and I paid for the van. Don't get me wrong, they had no idea where that money was coming from. Yeah. They had absolutely no idea. Yeah, and the thing is that I and as time went on, I went, I am going to I need to support Māori, but I can't do what I'm doing now. So I made that decision. I'm going to stop that, and then I stopped it. But now I'm broke as, and I got I got skills, but I got no connection, no nothing.
So lead us up to acupuncture, because how do you decide on that path? Because that's going to lead us into paramedics and into medicine. So how do you get to there?
Well, this is it. I met this guy in the Māori Party, and he was an acupuncturist. But the thing is, I'm looking for something to study, and I don't even think about acupuncture, but I'm thinking about wanting. I need autonomy, and I need interaction with people, and then I have a look at him, and then I go, okay, yeah, and then I look it up online, and I think, I could do this. The thing is, it was fucking weird, man, because the school that I went to was in Green Lane, and it's a Chinese school. All the points, all the syndromes, all the methods are in Chinese. So I'm learning all the points in Chinese, mate. I'm learning all the stuff in Chinese, man. Yeah. So it's not like I'm learning Western med, anatomy and physiology and that, and all that's in Western med textbooks. But then we'll go to the points, we'll go to manipulation, we'll go to the syndromes, and that's Chinese names and Chinese characters. And so I'm learning this, and I'm doing really good at it. Man, I tell you what, if you got any aches and pains, I'm your man. Yeah. And I really, really enjoyed it. We'd have these clinics where we'd get. What I really enjoyed is we went out to Manukau and to a Māori health provider. And we'd go there on a Wednesday night, and all the old kuia and koros would come in, and we'd give them acupuncture, and I really enjoyed that. And then we'd go down to a marae, and we'd treat them. Oh, that was awesome! And then I had this idea. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll go around different marae, and I'll treat all the old people once I graduate, and I'll treat them under ACC, and I'll be doing something that I really love, and I'll be treating the people that I feel a connection to, and I'll be making money. I think, man, this is awesome. And so I graduate. Turns out ACC's not like that, man. you can't go from marae to marae. You need to have a clinic, and I wasn't having any money. I didn't have any money. I couldn't pay for a clinic. I couldn't pay for rent. So it just turned out I was doing it for nothing, doing it for love, and I enjoyed it. I'd follow the pokai. The pokai is back in the day, the kingitanga would have different gatherings at different marae, and that would be like a fundraiser, food, bringing food together to help that marae. And so we've still got the pokai today, and I'd follow them around and I'd treat people with acupuncture. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it, but I wasn't making any money, and that was the key. But now I realized what I wanted to do. I wanted something in health, but I wanted something that where I got to use my head. I wanted something that gave me interaction in the community, and most importantly, I wanted the autonomy. Yeah, and so I was just going through everything online, looking at all these different courses and that. Paramedicine come up. Mm-hmm. I went, that's the one, man.
How old are you at this point?
How old am I? I don't know, man. Like late 30s, 40 or something. Yeah.
Because it's such an interesting. You've lived such a high octane life prior to this,
yeah.
And then it feels like a real step change to go into acupuncture. 3 years, I think it was, study,
yeah.
And then another 3 years of study again.
Yeah. Well, the thing, what it was is it brought me in some tools, mate. Like I said, I'm disciplined, but I haven't been, I guess, in the education system for decades. And so what actually going into acupuncture, which was, I guess, less demanding than going into paramedicine. It gave me tools in a stepwise position to go from studying as an acupuncturist to now studying as a paramedic, and getting into these lectures and being able to, mate, do you know how, well, you wouldn't, you know how hard it is to focus for 3 hours on a lecture, mate. It's unbelievable, and so by the time I got to decide I wanted to study paramedicine, I had the skills of the beginning of the skills of my study discipline down, and so those tools were there, and so it was I had the ability to transfer those skills now into paramedicine and utilize them and develop them even more, which later on I did need, and so yeah, I applied for paramedicine. I got into the competitive year, so that's where everyone studies Bachelor of Health Science, but then after the first 6 months, then you can veer off into wherever you want to. Like I wanted to go paramedicine, but you could go to nursing, you could go to physiotherapy, you could go to occupational therapy, and so I'd done that, and then after that period, when we could apply for paramedicine, I was blitzing it, and I thought, yeah, I'm sure, but I wasn't. I got knocked back, and that's because you needed a police clearance. And here's the thing. Here's another thing. Another tool that I believe the police use. When I got back, I'm pretty certain that my reputation followed me back because I'd been part of a group over there. And also at that time, there was a lot of focus on anti-terrorism because 9/11 had happened, and so there was a lot of policies put in place. And so I'm gathering that my reputation followed me back. And that's because I'm driving back from Waiwera one day, driving back from my cousin's. I'm coming down Waiwera, coming down those winding hills. And I hit an oil patch. I spin out. Police come. Now, the thing is, I'm driving, I'm seatbelted, I'm driving the speed limit. I'm not drinking any alcohol. I hit an oil patch, and they do me for dangerous driving. Yeah, they do me for dangerous driving, mate. Yeah. And like, I didn't put the oil patch out there, mate. Yeah. It's just an oil patch there, and I spun out. But I was licensed, I was seatbelted, and I was driving the right speed. But because I didn't think about it at the time, and I just wanted to get it over and done with, I plead guilty to it. But then all my previous criminal charges came back. And so now, whenever I go for so then when I applied for police clearance, they had all these charges that they go, he's been charged with this, and then of course I got knocked back. But I have, like I said, I have the single-mindedness. I'm going, no, this is where I need to be, and it's going to take as long as it's going to take. I'm going to do
it. Your life is made for a movie because we know where you're ending up, right, as a doctor, and we're on that path, and it goes acupuncture into paramedic study and into paramedic and then doctor. But there's one big twist still to come, right? So, July 2012, one night. Can you take us there and tell us what happened?
Yeah, okay. So I'm doing really well studying paramedic. I'm studying full time. And I've scored me a job working at the Salvation Army in the drug and alcohol rehab, the bridge. It's in Mount Eden, so it's right in central part of the town. And I'm working there Friday, Saturday nights, 12 o'clock till 8 in the morning, just looking after the residents while there, just to make sure that the environment's kept safe. And one night I get there, and I'm just doing my rounds in that. I think it's about 2 in the morning, something like that. And then I hear this screaming and the swearing, and then I hear this glass breaking. And like the residence, it's old and it's echoey, so I don't know where it's coming from. And I'm rushing down the hall, and I get to the office, and I look at the front door, and someone's kicked in the front door, and I think, fuck. And so I grab a torch, and I open up the door, and I come out the driveway, and I come down the side. Now the rehab backs onto a park that backs onto Dominion Road, and so I'm coming down the side street, coming along the park, and I hear that same voice again. I hear the same swearing. I think, that's him. So I get down to Dominion Road, and I see this guy just stumbling, drunk and walking across the street like that. And I run up to him, and I go, bro, I know what you've done. You need to come with me. We're going back to the office. We're going to take care of this. He goes, fuck. I go, bro, believe me, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. Let's go back to the office. He steps in like he's going to hit me. I push him away. He falls back. He hits his head, and he hits it hard. Boom. Straight away I call for an ambulance. Ambulance come take him away. The police come take me. I'm back at the rehab, giving a statement. Then the officer gets a call and goes, Tim, I'll have to stop because the patient's gone status 1. Fuck. Status 1 means it's life threatening. And fuck. And so he stops. He goes, the detectives are going to take it. So the detectives come over. They take me down Central. I give my story. There's nothing to tell. Like, I'm just telling exactly what's happened. They get me on. They take my clothes. They put me in one of those white jumpsuits. They take my DNA. They drop me off home. I'm a bit, I'm a bit lost at the time. Like, I'm not lost. I'm not afraid, because the thing is, I know exactly what happened, and it happened exactly the way I said. So I'm thinking I'm cool. The thing is, though, he dies 9 days later. And I'm thinking, fuck. Again, I'm not worried because what I said happened. The police run an investigation and it all points to exactly how I said. They even have video footage of this guy earlier that day in a bottle shop taking a swing at the manager like I said he tried to do to me, and them end up rolling around on the floor. Exactly the same way. But because I'm Māori, because I'm poor, because I got a history, they charge me with manslaughter. Now, I'm 4 months away from my final exam to become a paramedic, and I'm fighting a fucking manslaughter charge. The lawyer comes to me and goes, listen, they will they'll give you 3.5 years. They'll ask for 3.5 years if you plead guilty. But if you don't plead guilty, if you plead not guilty, they're going to try and go for the maximum. Maximum is life imprisonment. So the thing is, I'm 4 months away from my exam, and I'm tossing up whether or not to take 3.5 years for something I didn't do, or fight something, knowing that I'm going to get a shitload more if I lose. I haven't done anything. I'm not going to cop to it. So I go, no, fuck that. I'm not guilty. I know what I've done. I know that I haven't done anything wrong. I'm going not guilty. So straight away I can't work, which is fair enough, like, because I couldn't work there. But the real shitty thing is that I can't go on the ambulances because of there's cases in play. Because it's a violent case, as violence, I can't interact with patients, which is fair enough. But then, because of that, I'm not graduating that year. Yeah, I'm not graduating that year. And so so I sit my exams, and I only just managed to scrape by. And then and so I'm waiting for this court case to happen. And during this time, they've had an article come out in the newspaper because I'd been involved with the Māori Party. They go, wannabe politician, and then they specifically talk about the Māori Party. They just be really derogatory to them, like those fucking wankers. And then, anyway, and they try and just belittle me any way they can, and they make me out to have done it, to have actively gone out to hurt this person, and then on top of that, people start asking me questions about it, and then people start insinuating stuff, and so I'm there. It took a whole year before I went to court. And I've just shut myself off from everyone because this is all they want to talk about, and they just want to get stuff that they can kind of, I can talk to other people about, gossip about, and most of them, because of what the articles have been said in the paper, most of them believe I did it because they believe what they read. And so I get to court, man. I get to court, and I sit down for 8 days. It lasts 2 because there's nothing to answer, man. There is absolutely nothing to answer. And the jury is out, mate, I don't know how long, maybe an hour or so, like that, maybe a bit more, because there's nothing to answer. Anyway, they come back, of course, not guilty. And I walk out of that court, just walk out of the witness box and think, what the fuck was that all about? I've been through all of this for what? Because I'm Māori, because I'm poor, because I got a history. That's why. And so from that on, like I'm walking around in a bit of a daze for a couple of weeks, just trying to process it and process where my life is right now. And I've been going to the gym, and then I'm sitting in the gym. Sitting in a car park, waiting to go to the gym, and I'm thinking to myself, fuck, man, like it doesn't matter how far I get in life, it doesn't matter what I do, just one slip up, and they're going to try and put me away again for the rest of my life, yeah, and then that prophecy is going to come from when I was in Korea. Next time I come back, I'm never fucking leaving. Yeah. And that's going to come true. And I thought, man, I need a fight. Nah. And then I thought, I extended it out past myself. And I went, this isn't happening to me. This is happening to all Māori. And what's happened is this is the evolution that's come. Is that I've come over with some skills, some mad ass skills, and I've come back home with some mad ass skills, and then I've found a purpose, yeah. And then I've gone and educated myself, and then I've utilized all of them to decide to realize the potential, and that's where I am now. That's where I was at that car. I was at the beginning of what I could potentially do. Yeah, and that's when I went.
And is that, we've spoken about those moments where you're at a crossroads and then everything happens, but it still doesn't happen. Still doesn't. You don't flick the switch though, do you?
No way. Life is not like, life has never been like that for me. Like what it is, what I've found and what I understand now is that for me, in a good way, fortunately, that it hasn't happened that way. It hasn't become smooth riding, because what it does is these other trials and tribulations have allowed me to gain more tools to endure, to adapt, to overcome. So what it does, and by doing that, by learning these new skills, by learning how to endure, adapt, and overcome these new environments, it enhances my potential.
It's a really interesting feeling being in your presence when you're talking that, because I can sense the emotion and almost see the emotion rise up in you as you're speaking those words about how powerful those moments are.
They are.
When you talk about purpose and realizing and all of those elements of your life coming together in that car park in the gym.
Yeah, man. Like from that car park, right? I go put out a complaint with the IPCA. That gets knocked back. Of course, it's going to get knocked back. It's their guys. So I put in an appeal, and that gets knocked back. Of course, it's getting knocked back. It's their guys. I don't have any money to pay for a lawyer to go to the High Court. But man, I am able to think outside the box, and like I said, I've got some mad tools, and I think I'm Māori. All Māori are being affected. Let's put in a treaty claim. Let's see them try and knock that fucker back. Yeah. And I put in a claim. And today there's a few hundred claims I think in there, and mine's been made the lead claim, and that's because my claim is the only claim that can show that can quantify the potential that's lost. Like I was saying, I'm a doctor now. That's all cool, but I could have been a doctor 30 years ago. I missed out on that potential, and not only me missing out on the potential, Māoridom missed out on that potential, and not only Māoridom missed out on that potential, this fucking country missed out on that potential. Yeah, I could have benefited this country for fucking decades. This country could have benefited from me, but it chose not to. It chooses to spend billions of dollars on keeping me poorly educated, keeping me hungry, keeping me without a house, keeping me without a job, keeping me sick, keeping me in prison, then using a fraction of that, a small fraction of that, to invest in my potential for the betterment of this country. And so that's what I'm here, and that's how I've evolved today. And so what I'm going to, the purpose that I have today is to change that mindset, so that what we actually have as a country is the mindset to invest in our country for its potential. Because imagine how I grew up with 19 other guys, right? And some of them were better leaders than me. A lot of them were a lot smarter than me. But I'm the only one that ended up this way. And yeah, we can pat myself on the back. Go, yeah, fucking good job, Tim. Awesome, you did really well. But that's bullshit. That is shit. What we should be doing is lamenting the loss of 19 other doctors, 19 other lawyers, 19 other engineers. Imagine how much this country could have fucking benefited from that, rather than putting them in prison, rather than them necking themselves, rather than spending all this money to keep them unemployed. Yeah? Fuck yeah. Man, we as a country have the potential to do some fucking great things. And I'm here to make sure that happens.
We were just talking about that, eh? The exciting part is that your story, there's so much still to go.
Absolutely.
But just to bring us up to present, so you do become a paramedic,
Yep.
and then like the work you do, you talk about one day where you help deliver a child in the morning and then help an elderly woman sort of pass away at night, and you're going to sort of gang houses and you're acting as this intermediary where others couldn't do it, and it's really fulfilling work and you're loving it, but you're not loving the people you're working with or the place you're working with. And then talk to me about the end and why you decided to get into medicine.
Yeah, okay. So the thing is, like I said, I love the job. The people I work with, not so much. And that's because it's 85%, almost 90% middle-class European. So the culture is that. And also too, a lot of the people that I was working with were in relationships, had partners or husbands and wives that were in the police force. Because I am fighting against what the police have done to me. When I come in there, automatically. They hate me because they choose a side and they choose that side. So life was very difficult for me. I remember the first supervisor I was with, we dropped a patient off at Middlemore. Then she comes back to the truck and she goes, I've just spoken to one of the other paramedics. And he says, you're a fucking killer and you shouldn't be here. And that's the attitude I had for the years that I was working as a paramedic. And it affected my work because I never felt comfortable, and so I do silly mistakes like take off in the truck to go, and forget to take the pack that we're supposed to be having, so that it wouldn't be a pack in the truck and stuff like that. And so turning up to work was really shitty, especially when I was with someone. Like, because you're on a shift for 12 hours, so you're sharing a truck with a person for 12 hours. And a lot of them, because they're in an environment where it's so open with that culture, that they have no second thoughts about voicing their opinions. So you're 12 hours with this person while they're giving you this shit. Yeah. But the only thing that kept me turning up each day was the work. Like, I loved the job. And like the job that got me to progress forward was I went to a job that came down as severe respiratory distress. Now, I turn up, there's this 80-year-old lady or so, she's tripoding on the edge of a couch. So what's tripoding is like she's sitting on the edge of the couch, leaning forward with a hand on each knee. And what that does, that actually holds the chest up, keeps it wide, so you can get more air in. Yep. So she's tripoding, but I can't hear anything, so she's not moving much air. Like normally when people like that, they go like that. I can't hear much, so she's not moving much air. I kneel down beside her, I grab hold of her wrist, I go, love, tell me why I'm here today. She goes, I can't breathe. I got one word per breath. I'm feeling the wrist, it's cold, it's wet, and I can't get a radial pulse. I tell my partner, go get the stretcher. She's status 1, she doesn't need us, she needs a fucking hospital. He goes, yeah, cool. I'll do everything en route. He goes, yeah, cool. He goes, sweet. Goes off, gets the stretcher. I grab an oxygen mask, I'll put it on top of it, I go BP cuff, wrap it around her arm, I give a stethoscope to listen to her lungs. I push the BP button, I go, love, this is just going to be a bit tight in your arm for a second. Turn around, just put the stethoscope on her chest, she stares at me, and she arrests. Throw her on the floor, bang, 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 start working out some compressions. Partner comes in, we throw on the pads, we charge up, look in the shock. Now, there's only 2 rhythms you can shock, VT or VF. Little segue here. You know how they shock they shock a flat line on the movies and that? That's bullshit, right? So what we're doing with shocks is that the heart has an electrical signal, an intrinsic signal that starts up in the top right, which is called the SA node. It gets around to the apex, so that's the, down to the bottom where the ventricles are. And when it gets there, we get contraction. So we've got conduction, contraction, conduction, contraction. Now, what the shock does is it stops that electrical system running, with hopes, because it's intrinsic, it'll kick off again normally. Yeah. How do you stop a stopped heart? If there's no electrical signal, how do you stop it? You can't. So that's bullshit. Yeah, so there's only two rhythms we can shock, VT or VF. That means we've still got an electrical signal, but it's going stupid. So what we'll do is we'll stop it with hopes that it kicks off again at its own intrinsic rate, own natural intrinsic rate. Yeah. So anyway, so we get pads on, we charge up looking to shock. We can only shock VT or VF, but it's coming back as a normal sinus rhythm. It's just something you and I have. Thinking, bullshit. Feel for a pulse, no pulse, so it's PA. It's called pulseless electrical activity. So like I said, we've got an electrical signal, starts at the SA node, gets down to the apex, contraction. So conduction, contraction, conduction, contraction. What we've got here is conduction, no contraction. 9 things can cause that, 5 H's, 4 T's, and I'm popping them off in my head as we're doing this resus. Now the thing is, there's a couple of things that it could be, and I've been trained in them, not so that I had to do them, but just in case I'm with someone else that's doing it, they can tell me to do stuff. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly why we need to do it, and I can get it done. Boom, and help out. So the thing is, there's a couple of things that could do. I'm not licensed to do them, and we're busy as we're not getting back up. So I know what I know now. Then is I know as soon as I stop physically moving that halfway, she's dead, and that's exactly what happened. Went for a resus for about 30 minutes, got our line in, ran our fluids, pushed our drugs, did our 2-minute checks. After about half an hour, man, I am drenched in sweat. My partner's drenched in sweat. And I go, bro, I'm good. Are you good? He goes, yeah, I'm good. Get off the chest, wait for the adrenaline to dissipate, she flatlines, and we call it. Now, I left that job feeling like I kind of ripped her off. Don't get me wrong, I'm not God. People are going to die on my watch, yeah? But what I want to do is I want to give them the best possible chance for a favourable outcome. Next day I applied for medicine. I didn't get into Auckland, but I got into Otago. And bad luck for Auckland, good luck for Otago, because now I make Otago Med School look like fucking rock stars. Yeah.
And it's a hard journey to get to the start line, even to the start line of medicine, right?
Absolutely. So I applied and I failed. I didn't get into. I applied twice to Auckland, didn't get in. Applied to Otago. I came down as a what's called a super grad, so a postgrad student, because I have a degree in paramedicine, and that meant the competition was a lot. The group was a lot smaller. I think it was only about 40 or something like that. And I did well. I did well in exams, but not well enough. The average mark was 97.5. How the fuck am I going to compete against that, man? How the fuck am I going to compete against that? Yeah. And so I had to come back and wait another year and then apply again. And I applied again through alternative category. And this time, like, they saw my grades were good enough. I went down and sat an interview. And I'm good at that. Yeah. And so I went down, sat the interview.
You're getting these knockbacks, turned down twice by Auckland, missing out on your first year in Otago. At any point are you thinking, maybe this isn't for me?
I'm thinking.
Or is it that purpose piece that we spoke about before?
Yeah, there's, I may have like a bit of a down day for a couple of days, but there's never been one time where I've gone, I'm not going to do it. The thing is that and this is again like from where I've come from, I have now got this single-mindedness that and this focus that if this is what needs to be happening, this is what's going to happen, and I don't give a fuck how long it takes or what I have to do. It's going to happen, and that mentality is the same as if you take the mentality of me sitting in Mount Eden prison waiting for these guys to come up and kill me, and I had that mentality that yeah, if I'm to die today, then today's the day, and that's the same kind of focus that I have with when I was just getting knocked back from medicine. Like in that prison, I got bashed up, but I wasn't gonna fucking back down. And it's the same with this. I got knocked back 3 times. Yeah, it may sting a little, but I'm getting back up, and I'm going again, because this is going to happen whether you like it or not.
Do you know the stats on like how many people become doctors in their 50s? It's such a cool story of reinvention.
Well, I was interested in like Scarfy life in your 50s. we had former All Black Josh Cromfeld on here talking about when he went back as an adult student down to Otago. But I'm wondering, is it keg parties and burning couches or?
I got to admit, like I because I hadn't experienced any of that life growing up, I needed to just experience it. So I went to a few parties. I went and did a couple of flat crawls, which are good. Yeah,
there's hope for us. There's hope for us yet.
Do any of them know your like history?
Yeah.
No. They did because that documentary came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim, can you work the door for us?
But and it was good. And so I got to experience a couple times life as a student and enjoying those moments, and that was really good. It was awesome. But the next day I'd wake up and I'd be in the library.
Because it's a combination, right, of I think 3 years of textbook study and then 3 years of practical hands-on experience.
Yeah. So the first year is the competitive year, and then you get accepted or find out whether or not you get accepted to medicine. And the second year that's when you're focused, you branch off and you go to medicine. So it's 5 years actually for medicine, with 1 year of the competitive year. And so I went in. You got ELM2 and ELM3. That's early learning medicine 2 and 3. Those are the years spent in uni, and you're force fed like through a fire hydrant. The amount of information, man, it is just crazy. Like the amount of information that you get, because medicine's so huge, and so they've got to branch. They've got to look at every kind of thing. You know, they can't go right deep into it, but they've got to give you the foundation of everything. And so the amount of information that you've got to retain is crazy. Like I failed a couple of exams. But that's okay. I've failed a couple of exams in the past, and I just kept going. And the thing is that I remained focused as I like I said. Even if I went to one of those flat calls, the next day I'm in the library, mate. Yeah.
From what I understand, there's a lot of pressure on medical students to succeed. Did you feel that same weight of pressure?
Yeah. Well, I think there's pressure from the students themselves. Like a lot of students, their families have they come from medical backgrounds, so there's pressure for them to become doctors, and there's pressure for them to go that far. The other ones that because they've made it into medicine, that's a very I guess their family's very proud of them, so there's a lot of pressure from that. Also, too, they've gone through school in the top of their classes, all of them. So they've got, and then all of a sudden, they're in a group of people that have all been in the top of their class, and so the pressure for them to shine out is it's mental, and so they will put pressure on themselves, and a lot of them crack. Like a lot of them end up. The good thing with Otago is they have psychologists there that you can go see, and a lot of them go see them. And a lot of them, not a lot of them, but a few of them end up on medication and stuff like that to help with depression and stuff, because there's a lot of depression there because of the stress that they go through. But I think a lot of the stress that go through is they end up putting it on themselves because just where they've come from and the pressure from their families.
So You become a junior doctor at Middlemore at 56.
Yeah, man.
And which is a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
And I love how this book starts.
Yeah.
Like the first chapter.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of speaks to the wider picture of why this is important, because you walk home every night in your scrubs. Can you tell us about why you do that?
Yeah, man. This. Yeah. Like I said, I am going to create change. I am going to help this country. I'll drag this country kicking and screaming into where it can evolve into how it can be, you know. So what I need to do every minute, every day is be focused on how to achieve that. Now, I wear my scrubs to and back from work. And it's not so everyone can see I'm a doctor. Well, it is partly, but it's not for an ego boost or anything like that. What it is, and what I'm trying to normalise, is a Māori Pacifica is a doctor. That's what needs to be. That's what needs to be normalised. And it needs to be normalised. A brown-skinned boy from South Auckland can be a doctor, and everyone just looks at them and goes, "Yeah, well, that's what they do." That's how it needs to happen. And what actually gave me more assurance that I'm on the right thing is that I stay in Papatoi, and I go to a gym there. It's in Hunter's Corner, and I catch a bus back from Middlemore, and it stops before that, so that, you know, like I got to walk past it, so that gives me incentive to go in and keep training. But for this, I don't know what it is, but for this one reason, I walk past the gym today, and I get to the small satellites just after Hunter's Corner, and I'm there, and I'm looking across the road, and there's this young boy, would have been about 8 years old, and he's standing next to his bike. He's waiting for the walk sign to come, and he's going to push his bike off. And I'm looking across at him, and he looks at me, and he just stares at me, man. Stares at me, and I go, oh yeah, he's checking me out. And then the cross sign goes, and I'm walking past him, and as he's walking past, he looks up to me and he goes, "Hey, bro." I go, "Hey, bro, how you doing?" And it's all good. It only lasts a couple of seconds at the most, and then he carries on, I carry on, and I think, yes, man, that's what needs to happen, because the thing is, and I knew when I looked into his eyes, if I was wearing a gang patch, he would have done exactly the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What this young boy is he's looking for something to aspire to. And 99 times out of 100, 99,999 times out of 100,000, you'll see a gang patch as opposed to a Māori doctor. What needs to happen is he needs to see me more often. He needs to see a Māori doctor or a Pacific Island doctor. And then by the time he gets to like 14, 15, 16, he's seen enough of them, goes, yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, I can do that. Or I can do something else. But yeah. And it doesn't seem like that big a hurdle to get through, because he's seen it that often. That's what we do. And then hopefully that by the time he gets to that age, that he's made that thought in his head, and he carries on with that thought. Because the other thing is that if, like I said, he sees gangsters all the time, he's going to get to that age, and he's going to go, I want to be a gangster. And from what I've had to go through, I'm not sure they didn't make it, mate. Yeah.
There's an interesting part in your book where you talk about your relationship with the police in respect to the Waitangi Tribunal case that you have, about walking alongside people, or working alongside rather than against as adversaries, which was a real big takeaway for me in terms of getting alongside people that you might not understand to get the different viewpoints across.
Absolutely, and I think that's helped me. I've got to a point now where I've evolved enough to see that it's not us and them, it's just us. But also have that understanding that even though people may want to have the ability to do make these changes, that because without that time or their mindset, they might find it difficult to. And that's just for me to be patient and just to keep carrying on with what I'm doing. I'll give you an example. I sat down with the police commissioner of the day, and my discussions with him, I felt that he really wanted to make some changes. He really wanted what would benefit and give purpose and help people. But in that position, he had he is more constrained than someone who wasn't in that position. There was a time I sat down with him, and I likened his job to a role I had while I was in Australia with a group, and he looked a bit confused, and I went, yeah, because there's a position that you held amongst your people, there's a position that you held amongst the public, and there are those who want your job. And he started laughing. And so there's a tightrope that he has to walk, and I understood that he needed to he could only make changes in specific ways that weren't, I guess, as radical as much as I wanted. But I feel that he did want to make changes that he just wasn't able to.
I'm going to start wrapping us up, but it's been an epic chat. The question I want to know is, do you realise the power in your story?
Well, actually, I think it's well, yeah, I think it's unique. But what I guess I'm become aware of quite often is how I keep talking about potential, how my potential kind of expands as each part carries on. Like, this book is awesome, yeah, and it's good, and people are gonna. I feel people are gonna enjoy it. I feel it's a unique story, and people will get something out of it. But the potential for it is crazy. Like, it's been told by publishing that it's going to be, it's been accepted to be put into libraries, which is cool. I've donating it to my university and to the med school, and that with hopes of what I'm trying to do is get it put into universities, get it put into colleges. But where I think the biggest potential for it will be is in every prison and in every rehab. That's where I think it will do the most benefit. And so every person that comes into prison should get that book. Yeah, because what it says, it says the book talks about them, but then also it quantifies the potential that's lost and the potential that they have. No one else will ever tell them what potential they have. Yeah, no one will tell them the potential that they've lost. All they'll say, all society says, is you're fucking useless. We're throwing you in there and we're taking away your vote. Yeah. And so that's what I think my story has the ability to. It gives me more, helps me realize more of my potential.
There's examples that you put in the book of being in your professional capacity, having those side conversations with members of family, support, patients. Is that something that you do on a day-to-day basis?
Quite often, because especially in Middlemore, because of the environment and the people. I grew up there, and I grew up with these people, and there's a lot of times that I've sat down with people and I've gone, well, let me tell you a story, mate, and being able to make a connection where I don't believe anyone else could, and it doesn't even have to be them. I made one of these last night. A woman, she's come in. She's got what we call pseudo bowel obstruction. So that means the bowels stop moving, so there's nothing coming out of back end. So we'll put an NG tube in through the nose, down in there, and all that fecal matter is coming out through the tube. So it's coming out this way, and the bowel obstruction is causing her pain. Now the thing is, when people are in considerable pain, which she is, we normally give stronger analgesia, normally opiates. The problem with opiates in this case is they cause the bowel to even become even slower. They slows it down even more. So by giving her the opiate, giving her the strong pain relief, we're going to make the condition worse. And she didn't understand that. And so I've been called up to her. She was, I think she was my last job before the night. And I sat down beside her, and I've gone and I said, and I've explained to her, this is the reason why we can't give you it. And she goes, well, because she's under us Gen Med, but she's also under Gen Surg, because they're thinking about maybe doing, if there's an operation that she needs to have. She goes, will Gen Surg do anything? I go, well, I'm not sure, because I'm not part of that team, so I can't talk on their behalf. And then she goes, well, would they do this? Would they do that? Is this an operation that they could think of? And I go, again, that's something that you'll have to give to the team. I can't put some thought into your head. And then she seemed quite distraught. She became very teary. And then I said, listen, can I tell you a bit about me? And then I said, my name's Timoti Te Moke. You don't have to do this, but you can Google my name. And then she didn't have a phone, so I pulled out and I Googled it and I showed it, like that's an article that Eugene done when I graduated, and it's got something about prison becomes med school, and I told her a bit about my life, and then I said, but what I'm really trying to say is that a large part of my life was that I never knew how strong I was until being strong is the only choice I had. I can't give you any medication, and I can't give you any assurances. At the moment, right now, being strong is the only choice you've got. And she accepted that. And she went, thank you. And then I left it at.
Man, I reckon that's a pretty good place to leave things on. I just want to say thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. Like, I am so excited to see what happens over the next few weeks as the book gets released, because it carries such power. I asked you if you realize the power your story holds. I want to tell you, man, this is going to change lives. And that comment I read at the top, like, it's going to be streams of it coming through. So thank you for sharing so much of your journey with us, the good times and the bad. And yeah, it's just excited for what's next.
No worries.
Yeah, the power of a person is just the one note that I wrote down. I think about Mary Kays, who came into your life at an early stage, who saw something in you that maybe you didn't see. Yeah. And I think you will become that person to other people, that they might see something in you that they don't see in themselves, that one day will pay dividends. So you talk about that potential for change in a community, in a nation, in a country. And I think, this piece of work that you've done is a real foundation for some real change in our country.
No worries. Thank you very much. It was very enjoyable being here. Thank you.
Cheers.